Hello, Mama and Papa. So these are the mamas and papas. Yeah, look here. Yona and Bruce's Mama and Papa. Hello, sweetheart. Oh, and Eli. Baby Eli. Look at this. Hi. Okay. You gonna love on me? Oh, Mom. Oh, Mom. Oh, I know. You boys are doing good. All your babies are doing good, honey. They're doing so good. So, good afternoon, guys. Welcome back to the channel. Give me a hug. Welcome back to Appalachia's Homestead family. How you doing? I know I took a day off, and then I was like, I'm getting back into filming yesterday, and then we had to go get hay. Yesterday was a big hay run for us, and by the time you do all of that, and you get everything back home, it's like 8 o'clock at night, and you're like, I didn't film really much today, now did I? So that's the way the cookie crumbles. James is on vacation this week, so we're really working to try to get a lot of errands, chores done, projects moving, spring cleaning. So that's why I'm a little bit of a hit or miss this week. So nothing's wrong. All is great. Nothing's wrong. All is good. But welcome back to the channel. So listen, I hope you're doing well. I'm sure your eyes are crossed over and rolling around in your head like mine just because of everything going on. It's impossible to keep up with everything. So let's just establish that together. Boom, and let's move on. So I want to talk to you about something important that we have discussed in the past. I know for a fact over the last 3 or 4 years ago, I know we were talking about this, and it was a warning that I put out, and a lot of you already know this. It's common sense, but I really think you've been seeing it. You all are very aware and awake and aware and working hard, and I'm proud of you. This is why you're here. It's why we're here together. No matter who you are, where you are. So you're working hard, trying to be more debt-free, trying to, make sure you have a nice little pantry squared away. You're squaring yourself away. Whether good times are coming, let's pray for it. Come on now. Or are we still going to be in the valley riding forth for a while? I think both are up for debate, but I don't know about you, but I'm not willing to take chances because like you, like us here, the more we do to be as self-reliant as possible, everybody's circumstances are different. Things happen, all of these things, but every day you're putting that foot forward, not 2 steps back. Are we going to sing some Paul Abdul today? We fit together because opposites attract, and where's the cat? We could have Ginger and Fritz out here dancing around. It'd be funny. But remember when you had just simple little songs like that and you didn't have to worry about all this junk? I know. So here's the deal. So yesterday we went to go get hay, and we get our hay from a wonderful farmer and friend. And it's a small farming situation, kind of like us. They bale hay. He's a big hunter. He has goats, and he's had cattle and coonies, and the whole, it's another small farm, but he's planting Christmas trees. He plants corn. He sells animals. Just a wonderful guy. Hardworking family. They have outside jobs. So they're not just relying on their small homestead and farm. They do it for self-sufficiency reasons, obviously, but also they do sell some things or work with other farmers. So he cuts my hay for me, and I buy from him. And we had to go make a hay run yesterday because he stores a lot of our hay through the year, at least for a while, because we can't, if I buy 500 bales of hay, I can't quite store that right now in my barn. So he's like, that's fine. So I pay him, and he keeps it for us, and we go a couple of times during the year, and we fill everything back up. That's worked very well for us for the time being. And so I'd like to have another whole big old thing built over here just for hay. Again, projects, work in progress. They never end. Show me the money, right? So here's the deal. So we showed up yesterday, and we were just chit-chatting. I was throwing the hay down to James, and he came in and checked on us. And sometimes he helps us, and sometimes he has other things he's doing. So we just work it out. But he was talking to us, and he was like, man, I don't know if I'm going to be able to grow corn this year. And I was like, what are you talking about? Because I was up in the loft. I was like, what you talking about? He's like, yeah, I just don't know. He said, I went to go get I ordered a bag of peaches and cream. Now, you may not grow peaches and cream corn. I like to grow dent corn because it's great for my animals. I like heirloom seeds, and I can grind it for cornmeal and make my own cornbread and whatnot. That's me. But he likes to grow sweet corn, and I've grown sweet corn before in the past. I love sweet corn. I mean, come on, hello. But anyway, so he grows peaches and cream corn, and it is a hybrid, okay? So therefore, you can't really seed save from that. You're not going to get a direct hybrid situation again. It's going to be one or the other, whatever the crosses are. You all know how that works. Genetics, da-da-da-da. So I said, what's going on? He said, man, I just put me in an order for a 50-pound bag because he only grows, from what I understand about a 50-pound bag, you all correct me now, you're going to get about, 1 to 2 acres with a 50-pound bag, depending on how far you spread the seed, clearly. Okay. So he said, do you know how much a 50-pound bag of peaches and cream is going to cost me at the cheapest place I know this year? And I said, I have no idea. I don't grow that. And he said, over $900 and something dollars. And I said, what? He said, yes. He said, I had to tell him to hold it or he said, I'm thinking about just, we're going to have to send it back. He was like, he kept saying, he was like, I don't know how people are going to do this. He said, because I did it last year. And I said, well, what did you pay last year? Now, you may have paid something different. Remember, this is sort of in Southeast Tennessee. And so there's probably some particulars here that may be missing. So chime in if you do this and you grow to that capacity. I don't mean you've got a little block out here. I mean, if you grow multiple acres or if you're in big ag and whatever, I mean, maybe you get a better deal. I think you might. So, but long story short, he said, $550? And I said, it's gone up that much from last year to this year? He was like, yeah, he's like, I don't see how small farmers are going to make it. He's like, I practically lost my crop last year because it burned up because it just got, remember how I told you what it was like here? Remember our discussions about watching the sky? We've talked about things that are going on. We can really dive in on that if you want again, but here's the point. His point is you have small farms, basically like me. Okay, they may be tax exempt. They may not be tax exempt. I'll tell you what, tax exemption, y'all chime in. For small homesteads and farms, being tax exempt is great. You don't get exempt on everything. So everybody's like, you don't pay taxes at all. No, it doesn't work like that. You might get a tax break on your feed and certain supplements that you buy and things. Big ticket items. If you went and bought a tractor today, yeah, but who's got, $40,000 today to go buy a tractor? A tractor today isn't what it cost you 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. So that's another whole discussion within itself. But here's my point. You might be tax exempt, but if you 3 or 4 years ago, if you were paying $7.50 for a bag of feed and now you're paying $17.50, I mean, are you really worried about the tax? I mean, everything helps, but that's not what's making you or breaking you. Okay, you catch me? It is the inflation and the cost of everything. And his point is I don't see how small farmers around here that you might see at the farmers markets, you might see on the roadside stands, you might see places. He said, I don't see how they're going to do it. He said, because a lot of them lost their crops last year, so they're totally set back from last year. And then now you talk about almost doubling the price of something. He said, they may sit this one out. He's like, I'm just telling you right now with who I'm talking to, we all don't know what we're going to do. So I went this morning and I started Googling. Now, maybe you've been paying these prices. I'm not, like I said, I seed saved my own heirloom corn and I started doing that a couple of years ago. So I have my own back stock. So I'm kind of out of the loop when it comes to buying 50 pounds of, certain types of corn. I mean, obviously the prices are going to vary. Because my corn is not near as expensive, but see, a lot of people don't buy and grow what I do because they don't grind their own cornmeal and they don't feed livestock. So they want that sweet corn. You love that silver queen out there. Come on now. So Anywho, this brought back the whole conversation in my mind of, what are you going to do? Okay, we're going doomsday. I'm going to scare the britches off some people. You know how that works. You're so doom and gloom. No, this is called reality, and this is where a lot of people have been. This is what I'm saying from the get-go. You probably have already been making hard decisions, and it's not just been with insurance. You've been trying to change insurance. Maybe you got a credit card taken over to another credit card so you could pay it off faster because the interest rate is lower. You know, we do these things to get ourselves in better positions. And finally, with some things, you go, let me get out of the sun so I don't have to move the car. Finally, you get to the point where you go, I'm just not doing this. I can't tell you how many times within the last probably, I don't know, 6 months, maybe a little bit longer. It just depends. Maybe even up to the last 2 years, depends on what it is, where I just walk up to something and I go, I'm not paying that. To heck with that. I'm not doing it. I don't care how convenient it is. I don't care how much I like it. I have gotten to the point where I can no longer justify paying that for that. I'm just going to do without or do something else. And I think we're watching as part of the problem in terms of the post-COVID life and inflation and the debt that that the world is carrying. I think everybody at some level are now saturated in terms of the cost of things, and they're hitting the wall. I mean, everybody has a breaking point. It's like, I may have $1 million today and I may be debt free, but if I walk up to a Snickers and it's the size of a quarter now, and you're asking me to pay a huge amount of money for it, what is a huge amount of money? If you were used to paying 5 years ago 50 cents, you might be now willing to pay $1 because you really like Snickers. But when it starts hitting $1.75 or $2.50 and it just keeps getting smaller and smaller and smaller, every single person, unless you are a billionaire, I don't know too many of them, but you finally just say, I'm not going to do that. So here's my point. Not only have you gone through periods of food shortages of all sorts over the last 5 years. Think about it. It's not just toilet paper. Things just disappeared, and sometimes they've just never come back. And it could be from things from hardware to lumber to things for your cars. I mean, I went and bought a washing machine for somebody last week that is in need. Great need. So James and I talked about it. We went and we specifically went to we wanted to buy a new washing machine for somebody, not a used one. We wanted something new because they're elderly, and something new that had at least a good warranty. And I was looking for a basic washing machine. Didn't have a choice. HE, baby. My point is things have gone away, never stayed, never returned. Things have gone up in price. Things have totally changed. And so you finally get to the point where you go, I'm forced to pay this, I'm forced to buy this, or I'm just going to have to do without. Okay? I'm just going to have to do without. And so this is the point. Things may be out of your reach. I get that. And some people always worry about, well, what's going to happen is you're just going to have all these shortages. And I've said you're going to go through a time period where the item may be there, but you don't have an option in terms of something a little bit different to make it more affordable, such as the washing machine, HE versus non-HE. Again, I know somebody's going to say, go buy a used one. I didn't want to buy a used one. I didn't want to do that. So let's leave that there. So I was forced to buy HE. So when it comes to food, the item may be there. Pick an item. I don't know. But the problem is it going to get to the point where you go, I'm not paying that? I think a lot of you have watched that over the last 3 to 6 months over eggs. I've had people write to me and say, I'm not doing it. I'm just not. I don't eat that many eggs. I'll find a substitute. Or you know what? I'm just going to go without, because I can't in my mind justify paying $8.99 or $12.99 or even $5.99 for a dozen eggs. See, everybody's got a different breaking point. And you try to find the path of least resistance in terms of finding something that works for you. And finally, you're just outpriced. All of these things are coming out of this, is coming from a lag, in my opinion. And then it also comes from environmental issues. Watch the sky. Because, folks, we've got a real deal here. If you choose to be like me, which is, actually, I will tell you, I thought, maybe I should plant some things, not necessarily to have an expectation of a big food harvest, but just for seed saving. I'm really big into that. I may plant something and go, if I get some to eat and to can and to put away in my pantry, hallelujah. But if all I get, let's say I build and plant 6 big mounds for, my Cherokee tan pumpkins. If 5 of them fail and 1 of them thrives and I just get a handful of pumpkins, I'll have enough for a pie or 2. I'll have seeds for my chickens. I'll have seeds to seed save for the next couple of years, hopefully, for more pumpkins and maybe some treats for my dogs. Very low expectation, but coming in with the hope of seed saving. Maybe that may be a goal this year. Okay, find some odds and ends spots, maybe not your big spot, just to see if you can get something back in return for important seed saving opportunities. Because here's the deal. What are you going to do? So you go to the farmer's market, and instead of buying a dozen, say you get a dozen ears of corn for $3, well, it might be $6 or $7 this year. Do you see what I'm saying? See, I haven't bought corn like that in a while because I've grown my own. So I'm kind of thrown out of the loop there. But it did throw me back to, yes, the item is available. We don't have a shortage. You can get this today. Don't be scared. But the problem is can you afford it? And I think everybody, no matter where they are, have all started to see that they're having to make choices. This is why you're seeing so much of the, quote, upper middle class and beyond, the articles that are coming out saying, oh, they're shopping at Walmart now. Well, they've gone to Ingles or Publix or Kroger or wherever they've gone, and they are used to buying certain items at a certain price, and they finally go, if I go to the Walmart or if I go down the road or if I go here, it's $1.50 cheaper. Everybody, for the most part, I do feel, has started to cut back, regardless of how much money they make, and they're making different decisions. Maybe they're not getting a new car this year, whether they can afford it or not. They're going to hold on a little bit longer. Maybe they're not trading in their iPhones this year, and they didn't last year because they went, it's still working pretty doggone good. Waste not, want not, right? That's where we are. So, should you consider growing food this year? Absolutely, if it works for you and your rotation and what you feel you need to do. If not, here's what I am going to tell you to do. I would continue to look at your 5 to 10 cans a week. Make it versatile for your pantry. But also in addition to that, let me tell you something. I've said this many ways, many different times throughout the years. The small farmers and your small little egg ladies and all of these little things like that, folks, they are getting raked over the coals. Okay? I'm just telling you right now. And when it continues to happen to that type of individual, they will remember the ones that helped them the most and respected them the most in terms of their goods. Because what's going to happen, which has been happening over the last good, solid 2 to 3 years, including myself, you have to start looking at the hard math and going, if I'm going to be buying chicken feed or if I'm going to be raising goats, if I can't get what I need to at least break even from the product itself or maybe make a little bit, then I'm going to have to maybe change courses. Instead of selling to the public or doing all of these things, I'm just going to do it for me, myself, and my family, maybe a few close friends and family, because they can't afford to. They're hitting the wall. So again, just like the small farmer said, we're all going to have to think this out, because the risk that we took last year was enormous and we got burnt up with the corn. And now we're trying to come back. And not only are we trying to come back and do it again, even in perhaps a deficit, but now we're going to have to pay how much more for the seed and still take the same possible risk? I don't think so. We'll grow enough for us. But guys, y'all are on your own. Think about that. So the item may be there, lots of different items, but will you be able to afford to buy it? Can you afford to buy it now? Where is your breaking point? Because we all have one. We all have one. Whether we, are doing well or not is irrelevant. I believe every responsible adult, especially right now that is awake, is making hard decisions about everything that's going on, from going out to eat. Are you still coloring your hair? Did you go play golf last week, or did you say, nah, I'm going to sit that one out so I can go when my dad comes to town next month. Maybe we'll have a day to go hit golf balls together because he loves that. Hard choices are being made. And because hard choices are being made, it is continuing to send down a ripple effect with the economy. Pray for our country, folks. Pray for peace. Keep doing all the things. Be looking hardcore at what you feel you need to do this season, weather-wise, project-wise, all of these things in terms of your food supply. But no matter what decision you make, I would continue in some capacity pushing forward to make sure you are rotating your pantry and keeping up with things. Tell me your thoughts. What are you seeing out there? I've missed you. Give me a kiss. I love you. More videos coming your way. I know you're waiting on the Ivan video. It rained, and it was so gross outside. I was like, this is going to be a mud mop of a puppy. A mud mop. And I want him to be fluffy and cute, at least for 20 minutes. So that's coming up. Godspeed, God bless. Keep preparing out there. Pray, prep, and be peaceful. Tell me your thoughts. What are you seeing out there? How are the prices affecting you? How has what we're going through, how has that affected your spending habits? What are you doing without? And guys, it's not just about giving up Snickers. This is reaching all across the board. And if you don't know it by now, it's been happening. I'll see you guys in the next video.